I want y'all to tell me what y'all think.
What the hell are you about to play?
About this here. Yeah, check y'all boy out.
I do understand when they say this about Jokic. Jokic is probably statistically, when it comes to overall game, the worst MVP winner. He's the worst MVP winner in the last 40 years. Why do you say that? When you're talking about MVP, the guys outside of first and second place, their teams was first and second place. The people who won the MVP, their teams was first and second. When
that's y'all boy Gilbert Arenas. That boy, no, let me tell you something. Gilbert Arenas know how to shake a motherfucking room. Okay. And hopefully the audio was good. I mean, I see the comments.
No, it sounded good. It sounded
good. Yeah. Gilbert Arenas, man, that boy know how to shake a room.
I know he.
Gilbert Arenas says that Nikola Jokic is the worst MVP in the past 40 years. I need y'all to flood them comments, flood the feeds. Do y'all agree or do you disagree with Gilbert? Go ahead, Shooter. You itching. You just look at he's so stressed out.
Ahead.
Look at him, Lou. He's stressed out.
Go ahead, Abby.
No way in hell. You say in the last 40 years. Did you watch Steve Nash win MVP?
Wow.
So you mean to tell me Steve Nash should have won it like what Jokic was doing? What Steve Nash has done? You mean to tell me he was worse? His MVP was far worse than Steve Nash's? Hell no. Hell no. I think, in my opinion, Steve Nash is, from when I've been, so how long I've been watching basketball, I think Steve Nash has probably been the worst one to win MVP that I can remember.
Is he the worst one because you wanted Kobe to win it that year?
Of course, Kobe got robbed, but he was averaging 16 and 12. They gave it to him because the Suns was the number one team in the league. They won over 60 games, but he was averaging 16 and 12, 15 and 11. It's like, what? You MVP? Like, are you kidding me? Like, Jokic is like, come on, man. Come. I go ahead, Lou. This is bogus.
So
okay.
anything, bro. Let
me read this comment real quick, Lou. So Clement said, I strongly disagree with Gilbert on Jokic being the worst MVP. Jokic is the main reason why the Nuggets won the NBA title last season and a chance to win another. Go ahead, Lou.
So I went back and listened to it because I wanted to get like kind of
the full context.
Yeah, the full context of what he's saying. The rest of the video, it doesn't sound as stupid as that part. So first off, he shouldn't have said he was the worst MVP in the last 40 years. But essentially what he was saying is that everybody the people he named. So they named Westbrook. He named I forget who the other person was that he named or whatever. But he named Westbrook and was saying how what Westbrook did, nobody had seen since Oscar Robertson.
Right.
And that team was like ranked
6th seed.
They were like 6th, 10th, somewhere in there. Like
I think they were 6th seed when he won.
No, but I'm saying their record for the whole NBA, they were like 10th in the whole NBA. But the reason he won is because he had done something nobody had seen since Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, that team wasn't that good for real.
He was saying that he did something special. And everybody else that won the MVP that didn't do anything as special, their teams were at least the 1st or 2nd seed or something like that, or the 1st or 2nd record in the NBA. But he lied because LeBron, when he was with Miami, when he won those 2 MVPs, we were not the 1st or 2nd best team in the NBA.
That is correct.
We were like the 3rd and 4th best team in the NBA. You know, those 2 years that he won the MVP. But LeBron ain't do nothing special, but just be LeBron. Last year when Giannis and them won it, I guess they were the first, had the best record in the NBA or whatever. To me, that don't really matter, bro. Like what Jokic was doing, because he said Jokic got it because he almost had a triple-double as a big man, and we haven't seen that. But I'm like, bro, like Jokic was probably the best player at that point in time. He was playing like the best player at that time. And I believe it was one of the years where it was him and Embiid that were neck and neck, but then Embiid missed a lot of time. towards the end of the season, and that's where or the middle of the season or something like that, and that's where his MVP chances just kind of went out the window. So I disagree with him. Like I said, the rest of the video doesn't sound as stupid as the beginning of it because he added more context, but it's still a dumbass take. Like
that was stupid.
It's still a dumbass take because he was saying that everybody did something special. They did something special, but I do agree to the fact where they were talking about how like the players used to vote for MVP up until like the 80s, and then it went away from the players being the MVP, and that the NBA kind of messed up this award. They kind of messed up this award just because how they did things, how players messed it up because they was talking about Wilt Chamberlain, how he averaged a certain amount of points, and he never won the MVP at that point. So the players kind of fucked it up for everybody.
Here's my thing. I'm not sure how you can look at the numbers that Joker has been putting up and say that he's not doing something special. You know what I'm saying? Man. Yeah, like I really don't understand how that works. I agree with Clement. He is literally the reason why. I mean, listen, Jamal Murray and MPJ, and they all right, they cool. They ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't look at. I mean, he is a walking bucket at that size, doing what he do. He's unguardable. He's unguardable. You can't guard him. You can't stop him. How is that not special? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure what Gilbert is getting. Again, I just think Gilbert was shaking the table. Gilbert always shaking the table. He always got something to say. Jonathan said, "What up, Jonathan?" Jonathan said, he said, I can agree Steve Nash could have lost the first one to Shaq year one in Miami.
Steve Nash had no business winning MVP, dog. He had no business winning that award. He had no business. And I'm like, what? Come on, man. Now,
one thing. Honest, oh, my bad. Go ahead, y'all.
No, I'll just say, one thing, like, I wish they would change like, in that era when people was just hooping. Like, now, you don't have to really be the 1 seed to win MVP. Like, Jokic won the MVP as a 6 seed. Russ won MVP as a 6 seed. You know what I mean? Back then, the record mattered so much. You know what I mean? When you had other players that were playing at an MVP level that could have won it and didn't get it. Dwayne Wade was a prime example. He had an MVP year the year before Bron and them came. An MVP year, averaging like 32, 6, and 8 or something like that, and didn't even get a look for MVP. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I wish they would have had that type of mentality back then. Be like, okay, even though this player is not the number 1 seed, he's literally playing like the best player in the league, and we should reward him with that award. That's one thing I wish they would have changed.
And I appreciate what he said about Westbrook, but outside of Westbrook doing something that Oscar Roberts had never done or Oscar had never done, like, forget another player and him, you know what I'm saying, like, or excelling what another player did, excelling past what another player did. They literally lost games if he did not go up and out there and put up double points, he had to put up double in points. He had to go up and do the same thing with rebounds and assists. That is the only way they were winning games. Can you imagine lacing up in the locker room and I got to go out there and grab 10 plus rebounds. I got to go out there and at least score 10 plus points. I got to go out there and at least dish out 10 plus assists every game. That is the only way. Forget the Oscar Robertson thing. They weren't winning if he wasn't averaging a triple-double. So that's another thing that makes that super special. But Jokic, man, I mean, first of all, talk about putting the city of Denver basketball-wise even in the back in the conversation and winning a championship. And then again, being favored to win it again with all of the talent that the West has, with all of the talent that this league has. We're talking about Denver, who had the likes of Carmelo Anthony, who had some folks in that city. We talking about Jokic. End up taking him to a championship and probably will run it back again. He wouldn't run it back again if the Wizards was on something, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, here we go.
If they was on something, I said.
Anyway,
You don't move past what I'm saying. You don't move past.
Like,
I absolutely am moving past
just
that.
don't try to brush that under the rug. All I'm saying is put some respect on Jokic's name. And Hollywood said it. Hollywood said in the comments. She said that Gil don't like overseas players though. They taking over the league. I have heard that's something. I think that was the last wild thing he said. Was it him that said get rid of all the European players? Who said that? I want to say that was Gil.
It might have been Gil. It
might have been
him.
I think it
might have been him.
But what I was going to say is Steph Curry might be the worst MVP we've had in the last 40 years. And I'm not talking about the unanimous MVP. I'm talking about the first one when he was only averaging like 23 points a game. And but yeah, because he was like 10th in the league in points.
He was.
But but no, I mean that's not the only reason. But he got it because they were like 69-12 or whatever the the record is or whatever, 69-13, whatever. But that's the reason he got it. They had the number 1 seed. They were the best team in the NBA, and Steph won the MVP. The next year when they went 73 or 73-9,
they lied,
and he got the. He got the unanimous MVP.
Shout out to 73-9, and they lied.
I understand that one, but the one before,
that
might be the worst one.
The thing about somebody like Steph,
Steph numbers was average.
It was average.
But
it wasn't MVP numbers.
But here's the deal. Here's the inconsistency when we're talking about what an MVP is, because forget his numbers. He's the most valuable player on the team. He's the most valuable player in the league.
That don't make you the most valuable.
That don't make you the best player in the league, though. There's a lot of players that's the most valuable player for their team.
James Harden was going crazy. That
y'all missed what I said.
LeBron was going crazy.
I said he was the most valuable player in the league.
At that point, he was not.
He had been at that point for quite some time. I didn't say he was the most valuable player in the league. I mean, we talk about, you can't say that I can't question any of his MVPs when we sit around and talk about how he literally changed the way that the game is played. How is that not value?
Blue's talking about it from a statistical standpoint, though.
But I said put away the numbers.
You can't put away the numbers. You don't win MVP without the numbers.
The reason why I say that, though, is because that's what I mean by the inconsistency of what makes an MVP. Because he only averaging 23 points, stop. Go out and average 23 points in the league you play and have. Go out and average 23 points, Lou. Do that.
I mean, we're not saying that. I think you're being extra on the only 23 part. We get that. We're not in the NBA. We get that point. I said you being extra on that. Like we get that. We're not in the NBA.
We're not in the NBA. I'm not going to go out nowhere and average no 23 points. I can say that. I'm not a basketball
player. Normal MVP, 23 points for you to win MVP. Like, come on.
I mean, because look, listen to the MVPs since that MVP, right? So what Steph had? Where is it at? So 23.
The year after that, he was averaging 30.
Yeah, so 23.8. The year after that, he averaged 30. Russ averaged 31.6. Harden 30.4. Giannis 27.7. 29.5 for Giannis again. 26.4, 27.1, 33.1 for Embiid last year. And even before that, outside of Derrick Rose, you don't really. Well, I mean, until you get to Steve Nash in 05.
And Nash, bro, man.
But here's my thing.
With them nasty back to back.
We just talked
numbers
about
was disgusting, dog.
We just talked about how somebody like Russ got MVP because he did something special.
Yeah, he did something special.
Hold up. His numbers weren't taking it. Yes, his numbers were, but
his numbers were crazy.
He was averaging a 30-point triple-double.
I understand that. I understand what you're saying. But he did something special because outside of like the seeding and where he was, he probably wouldn't have gotten it if he hadn't averaged the triple-double, right? No matter how crazy the number was, he could have averaged 39 and 9.
He wouldn't have.
It wasn't a triple-double vibe. He probably,
if he averaged 39 and 9, they probably still would have gave it to him.
They might have still gave it to him.
I don't know.
But even when you
what I'm
look
saying
at that,
is Steph also is special.
Not that year. Not that
year. He was
the second year. He was
special. You're talking about just the numbers, and it's more than just the numbers. Is what I'm saying. We cannot just base
but that's what I'm saying. It was the record. It was their record. Like that's why Steph won it because they were the best team in the NBA. And that goes back.
That had anything to do with Steph being the most valuable player.
That goes back to what Gil was saying, that when other players won it, when they didn't do anything special like Westbrook, It's because their teams were either the first or second best team in the NBA. Steph that
was
year,
one of those
Right,
players.
the Warriors were the best team in the NBA. Now, the second time he won it, the
He was
unanimous
wilding.
joint, he was wilding.
He was
And they were still the best. And then they broke records.
I
Like, they
don't
broke
see
records.
how you have the number one record in the league being the Warriors without Stephen Curry, is what I'm saying. That has to account for him getting
that means
MVP. That's just me pushing back on you saying
but
that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he won it, because he was the best player on the best team. He didn't
Right.
win it because he did anything spectacular. He won
was
it
the
because
best
he was the
player
best player
on
on
the
the
best
best
team.
They
team.
were only the best team because of him.
Y'all
That's
both saying
what
the
I'm
same thing.
But that's what
Y'all
we're
both
saying. The same thing.
We're
That's what I'm
saying the
Oh,
same.
yeah,
Y'all saying
yeah.
the same thing.
He was saying the best
No,
player
no,
on
no,
the
but
best
what
team.
I'm
That's why
saying
he won.
is
That's why he won the MVP.
But you're questioning the award though, and I'm saying we're saying the same thing, but we're saying it in different ways.
I'm not questioning
You're
it.
saying
I'm
that
not
he was the
questioning the
best
award.
team. He was on the best. I'm saying is they was only the best team because of Steph Curry.
Yeah, and I'm not questioning the award, but what I'm saying, if
Oh.
we're going to say somebody's MVP was the worst over the past 40 years, it would be that one.
You could just say Steph.
To me, it's not
You
Jokic.
You out of pocket for saying
Jokic.
Steph though.
He only
That's what I'm saying. Like 40 years.
You want that Warriors fans on your head.
I ain't gonna give a damn about them kids. Them boys just got here. I don't give a damn about them kids. They just got here. What the hell?
Them kids is crazy.
Them niggas were out there with the Warriors back in the day.
Yeah, they
Matt Barnes.
They wasn't in the gym with. They wasn't in the gym with Jason Richardson and them. They wasn't in the gym.
Yeah, they wasn't there when they had the little red in their jerseys and stuff. Nah, they wasn't. When the little Warrior man on there. Yeah, they wasn't in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't give a damn about them kids.
I don't know,
But
Lou,
like Vinny said, you can say D Rose. You can say D Rose too. D Rose numbers weren't crazy.
Yeah, D Rose numbers wasn't crazy
the best
either.
Player on the best team.
But the Bulls had the best record, and D Rose numbers wasn't crazy. And people felt like LeBron got robbed that year for MVP. They were saying LeBron should have.
And that was a lot of.
So y'all are saying y'all don't think that D Rose did anything special?
Yeah, he was special.
No. I mean, he was good.
He was good that
but
year.
I'm saying he didn't do nothing special.
He didn't do nothing crazy.
You were saying that.
No, I'm saying that D Rose was great that year, but he didn't do anything special. Like Gil was saying, like to Lou's point, Russ did something special. Harden, that year he won MVP. He was doing something special that year he won MVP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Harden was wilding. That year Harden won MVP, he had some insane triple doubles there, like a few 50-point triple doubles that year he won MVP. Like Harden was wilding.
Harden was going crazy that year.
He was snapping that year he won MVP.
That's something we're gonna have to take to the timeline and talk about. If you had to name a MVP, a worst MVP in the last 40 years,
I'm trying to tell you.
We might have to run a space for
D-Rose.
You might have to run a space for that, but I'm letting you know that now. You better, if Lou say what he said, just mute the tweet after that. If he say Steph, just mute the tweet. Just mute that joint.
Lou ain't ducking no smoke. Look at Lou.
Lou ain't ducking no record.
Don't duck no damn smoke. What the hell?